Hello, everybody, and welcome to the PWC Monday Night Machismo. I am your host, Jimmy T, and my co-host. He's back after a while being on the PWC, but we've been hitting it up on the HMG side of things. Bet, what's crack-a-lackin', man? And thank you for joining me right here on the PWC network and for the Machismo. What's the haps?
Well, it couldn't be Machismo without two macho guys like us, right, Jimmy? So it's only fitting that I make my grand return. But it's not on a Thursday this time. It's live on a Tuesday.
It is. I guess it is a Tuesday night Machismo. But as I said, man, I ended up watching Raw just before. That kind of rhymed. And dude, before we do get into Raw, have we been fooled? I think we've been fooled, dude. I think WWE know exactly what they're doing with this hashtag We Want Cody fucking thing going around all over social media that had been trending for 3 days straight.
No, they don't know what they're doing. They thought that 100%. Well, I don't know what does the WWE mean? What does that mean? Who are we talking about? Are we talking about Triple H? Are we talking about TKO, board of directors? Who are we talking about? Because I can almost guarantee you that when The Rock walked out there on Friday, he thought he was fucking cool and that this was so cool and that everybody was going to love it. I'm sure that's what happened. And now they can pivot and they can say whatever they want and say, oh, yeah, sure, this was the plan all along. We knew that this would. No, they thought everybody would just be cool with The Rock because everybody loves The Rock. And it turned out not to be the case. So now they can play with it a little bit. They are absolutely not geniuses. There's no evidence that anything they've ever done is genius. So let's not give them too much credit, okay?
Maybe I am giving him too much credit. So you think they didn't even realize what they had with Cody Rhodes?
Well, I think it was a question of outside forces like overruling what, they had planned in the first place, right? So I really think it's a tale of two sides. Like there's the whatever side that thinks they need to just jam The Rock into everybody's face like they always do, no matter whether it's, movie franchises or, him doing charitable donation videos or whatever other things that are meant to cram The Rock down our throats. But that side wanted to do what they wanted to do, and I'm sure that the WWE creative side had a plan that didn't include The Rock. So it's kind of like now they're trying to make the best. As usual in the wrestling business, it's all about who can make lemonade and chicken salad, right? So as Jimmy fumbles the pass from off screen. So
yeah, they throwing me a cigarette just now. But I think you're right, man. Absolutely. They didn't realize what was going to happen with the fan base. But even though, I feel like they're playing the smarty, if you know what I mean. Like, oh, we knew all along, don't worry, blah, blah, blah. And which is testing the waters. But, I mean, going by the start of the show when Cody made his entrance, I mean, the crowd, well, Seth first made his entrance, but the crowd was totally booing The Rock. I mean, there was Rocky Sucks chants. Heck, even Michael Cole said, is this 1996 all over again? When he was referring to Rocky Maivia back at Survivor Series 96 when he made his debut.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everything is reactive. I think that that's just my personal feeling on the matter. What do I know? I'm just some guy. It's not like my intuition is ever correct or anything like that. It just feels like to me that I don't know. I'm not going to blame any one person or whatever, but we'll just for the sake of simplification, if we say, The Rock is like, much like a Hulk Hogan, in the sense that he's got his own version of that doesn't work for me, brother. Right. You probably know what it is. It's he's known for saying that's a great idea, just not a great idea for The Rock. Right. So, so this is kind of like that, like him thinking, hey, what if I face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania and who cares what you guys were doing? Right. Like I can just totally see that aspect of it. And I can see him trying to talk Cody and just be The Rock, he's very charismatic and personable and likable. So he's going to talk to people. He's going to talk his way into it. And maybe it wasn't his idea, but maybe someone talked him into it. And he's going to try to convince everybody else. Then he sees this social media backlash, which, to be completely fair, social media is not the entire wrestling fan base, right? Like, that's just the vocal minority. They don't appreciate it. But when you go to the buildings and stuff, and those are your ticket buying customers and stuff, they are a better representation than social media. And if they're happy to, cheer for Cody, and maybe there's people that are just happy to see Cody and they're not necessarily booing The Rock, but the people that are internet fans go to the shows and boo The Rock and start that whole thing. And it's got to be weird if you're a casual fan who kind of follows along, and then you see Cody, the character, give up his spot on Friday Night SmackDown. It just doesn't seem like it makes sense. Even if you are a big fan of The Rock, it still kind of makes Cody look weird if you're not, if you're not totally invested in all the behind the scenes stuff. But whoever just goes to the Royal Rumble, wins the Royal Rumble, gets to challenge at WrestleMania and just says, yeah, nobody does that, right?
No, you're right. Spot on, man. And just want to welcome Aaron Ben Shlomo for joining us on this very last second of the Machismo. We didn't plan it. It just sort of happened. And thank you for joining us. And what's this about? Now, I didn't catch the Impact Attack just yet because I was sleeping. But he says, I am sorry for your first stream ending. Please do not give up.
I was having internet issues and I tried YouTube live stream to see if that would help instead of Twitch, kind of like what we were talking about off the air. But
okay.
It didn't make a difference. It just, I ended up, getting kicked off because of my bandwidth issues, but hopefully that's all fixed right now. Hopefully everything's coming through nice and clear now. I may have figured out the issues. So, we'll see. But yeah, it wasn't about the Impact Attack. But speaking of the Impact Attack, I kind of made this analogy too. Like, you remember in let's say 98, right? So let's say Stone Cold wins the Royal Rumble and he gets to challenge at WrestleMania, right? So it's going to be him and Shawn Michaels, right? And then Austin's ready to get his title match, and then Mike Tyson shows up, and then Mike Tyson comes in and says, you know what, I would like to challenge Shawn Michaels for the WWF Championship. And then Steve Austin's like, oh hell, son, go ahead. I don't want it. You can have it. What would have happened to Stone Cold Steve Austin and his rise to the top if he had done that back then?
Wow. Well, it would have been bad, that's for sure. But people actually point out how he won the 97 Royal Rumble and didn't actually get a title shot that Mania where he faced Bret the Hitman Hart. But if people remember, back in 97, I don't think the winner of the Royal Rumble had a title match at the time. So I don't think he actually, whoever had won it in 97.
They did, bro. Yeah. They had started doing it in 1993.
Yeah, you're right. That's true. But there was some years that they didn't actually have anything for the winner, like winning to face anybody.
Not true, Jimmy. Not true. Let's run it down.
Sure?
Yes, 93. It was Yokozuna, right?
Yes, where Undertaker floated up in the sky. I think, if I remember correctly.
That was I think that was a different one. Yeah,
I think that was
Yokozuna won in 93 and challenged Bret Hart at WrestleMania 9, and then that was the Hogan thing. Okay,
right.
94 was the one where Lex Luger and Bret went over at the same time.
Wasn't it Shawn Michaels?
No, I'm telling you what it is. I'm not asking you what it is. 1994 Royal Rumble, Lex Luger and Bret Hart go over and their feet hit the floor at the same time. And at WrestleMania 10, they each get a title shot, but they both have to wrestle twice because Bret wrestles Owen to start.
I remember.
And then Lex Luger wrestles Yokozuna earlier in the night. And then Bret goes on to face Yokozuna at the end, even though he lost to Owen. So with a masterful bit of storytelling there, Owen was just there to make sure that Bret had to wrestle twice because that wouldn't be fair to Yokozuna or Lex. So he actually ends up beating his brother that night, and then he's the one that's left staring at his brother winning the championship knowing that he beat him, right? True. So beautiful ending there. 1995, Shawn Michaels, 1 foot, goes on to challenge Diesel at WrestleMania 11, loses. WrestleMania or Royal Rumble 1996, Shawn Michaels wins again. Goes on to WrestleMania 12, Boyhood Dream, yada, yada, yada. 97, Steve Austin wins,
You're right.
but that's because he was already eliminated and then he threw Bret Hart out.
That's right. You're right.
So they did the
fatal
fatal 4-way match
in your house. Correct.
Yep.
You're right.
With Vader, Undertaker, and then Bret and Austin, right?
And it was called Final Four in your house, literally. I remember now. No, you're spot on. I take all that back. You refreshed my memory. And it's funny because usually I'm a stickler for all that, right? But you got me. But you refreshed my memory, so you're right. But look, I still think Cody and Rock will Cody and Roman will happen, I think. But look, at the end of the day, the story is it's not about him facing Roman, it's about him winning that WWE Championship. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. We do have the press conference coming, I believe, this coming Thursday. Right. So I don't know if that's going to clear shit up, or on SmackDown, we're going to have more shit cleared up. Either way, if WWE didn't see this coming, well, they're idiots, straight up. And at least it's done one thing. It's put Cody right over, man. I mean, he is right now flaming over. And the people wanting to, to finish his story, as do we. And I just don't understand what they were thinking by going The Rock. Now, when is Cody going to get his match? Is it going to happen at WrestleMania, or is it going to happen at Elimination Chamber?
I suppose it doesn't really matter if it happens at WrestleMania.
But against who? Does Roman face, two people, say? It's a tough one.
You could, there's a lot of things you could do. That's up to them to figure it out. Hopefully they'll make a better decision than they did on Friday, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We could play fantasy booker all we want. It doesn't really matter that Cody wrestles for the title at WrestleMania. I suppose that does defeat the purpose of winning the Royal Rumble, of course. But I don't want to see a Seth Rollins match. In reality,
fuck no.
The fact that it should never have been Punk either. I think if it should be, if we're looking at the current landscape right now, it should be Drew McIntyre. It should be Drew McIntyre.
Seth, right.
Yes, he should get heat by the fact that Seth has a bad knee, and because he hasn't been able to beat Seth, but now Seth has a bad knee, so there will be no excuses, and Drew McIntyre can win. He can rub it in everybody's face. We'll know that Seth was hurt. You can't leave Drew off of WrestleMania. It shouldn't be. He's been figured into the top guy storylines and everything like that. So that's just what I think. I don't want to see Cody and Seth. I'd rather see Cody and Roman at Mania, and The Rock. They can work some way where The Rock doesn't have to have that match there, or they could do a 2-night thing, whatever. But I don't know.
Yep. That's true. Well, now that CM Punk, actually, you just reminded me. Now that CM Punk is out of the equation, you could have a 2-night thing, even though that doesn't make sense, because why should the champion be at a disadvantage? But who knows? We'll see. Aaron Ben Shlomo says, have you listened to Bully Ray on Busted Open radio podcast? He said that in his opinion, Cody needs to face Seth and they should steal the show. That is the dumbest thing I ever heard by
who gives a
Bully
fuck
Ray.
what Bully Ray thinks?
Right. That is just pretty
Who has
stupid.
ever give a fuck what Bully? Get the fuck out of here.
Who's not out? You talking about what? Who you talking about, Aaron? CM Punk? He's out, dude. It's official. He had surgery. If you watched Raw this past Monday, he literally had surgery, and that's not a work. It's
you could tell it was a real hospital because they didn't just put a curtain up in the background like they usually do.
Yeah. No, Aaron. If you watch Raw, you'll see he really did have surgery, dude. It's a fact. But anyway. Well, that leads us to Drew McIntyre and him coming out with the meme, dude, which I've seen all over the internet, with Punk. That thing, that killed me, dude. That was pretty funny. I'll give him that. That's all right, Eric. You don't need to take it back. It's not your fault, brother. But that was killer, man. That made me laugh. But look, this first segment was cool and all. It was what it was. Seth Rollins doesn't even know what's going on until after the Elimination Chamber. I'm not going to go and say everything that was said. We pretty much just touched on what was said, essentially. And it's all about Cody finishing his story and Drew finishing his little story with Seth Rollins. But we'll see what happens there, Vet. So you think it will be Drew and Seth night one. And hopefully, we've got no idea. But all I know is WWE have literally set themselves up in a way they have to get out of this mess, dude. Because unnecessarily, they put themselves in a mess, dude. Like, really, it didn't have to get to this. They should have just stayed the course and everything would have been fine. But for whatever reason, they decided to do with what happened with The Rock. What I want to know is, how does The Rock come back from this, dude? They can't just go back on it, can they?
They can, because The Rock never actually said anything, which we already discussed that when we were on the Wreckage review, is how he just comes out and says absolutely nothing. The guy that's known for mostly talking doesn't say anything. So that's a brilliant use of The Rock. Yeah, so, I mean, he can always say whatever he needs to say to get out of it, or they can come up with some way for him to get out of it. But I don't know. I really think it's two opposing forces that are trying to reach a compromise. It's not like WWE is all moving in lockstep. They're in a tumultuous time right now because of everything else that's going on too. So there's a lot of people that have other things on their minds. And then you throw this into it, like they're trying to improve the situation, whatever Team Rock thinks. Like, hey, I got an idea. How about I win the belt? Like whatever it is, I'll take the main event spot. I'll do whatever. It just reeks of like not reading the room and being out of touch and everything. But I don't think it's everybody working hard coming up with an idea and it being a bad idea. I think people are trying to force bad ideas into other people's plans.
Unbelievable. Well, anyway, let's move from that, because as you said, we did discuss it in length on the Wreckage. So you can also check out the show there on channelattitude.com, $5. And that leads us to our next matchup, though, Vet. It is the Raw portion of the Fatal 4-Way Tag Title Qualifier for Elimination Chamber to face Judgment Day. And it is the New Day in Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods versus the Creed Brothers versus Imperium versus DIY. And man, I don't know, this was kind of surprising to me. I wouldn't have thought DIY would have won, but they friggin' did.
Well, I think I was probably doing dishes at the time or something, but it sounded like it was action-packed.
It was actually a decent match. I won't lie. It was. Every time the Creed Brothers are involved in a match, I've noticed lately, it's been pretty decent. And it was decent. It was better than the SmackDown portion of it, that's for sure. But still, man, DIY, I can't... Man, I used to be a fan of Ciampa and what's his name, Gargano. I'm just so over him now, Vet. I'm just done.
DIY was dead to me the minute that they clotheslined AOP and AOP took a bump.
You're a character, Vet. Nicely played. Yeah, they've been dead for me for like over a year, at the very least, probably more. But yeah, I just can't stand them, dude. But nevertheless, they win. They go on to Elimination Chamber. Oh no, hang on a minute. No, I'm wrong. They face British Strong Style on SmackDown for a tag title shot at Elimination Chamber. So we'll see what happens there.
That'll put some butts in seats.
Dude, I'm not going to lie, man. I'm still contemplating about going. It's not sold out yet, like, believe it or not. I think they've sold 50,000. There's still at least 16,000 tickets they need to sell. And I won't lie, man. I know Elimination Chamber is the marquee match, okay? But there's no World Championship match by the looks of things so far, right? Mm-hmm. If there's not going to be no Punk, we don't know if Rollins is going to be on the card, to be fair still, which is not sure. More, he probably won't, right? Because why should he risk it? He'd rather wait for WrestleMania. There'll be no Roman. There'll be no Rock now suddenly, unless I'm wrong. I mean, that's a lot of big names off the card, dude. No Punk, like I said. What the fuck's the point? I mean, if they want to sell out, and if they want to sell out the damn place, you need some more marquee matches. Sure, they're gonna have Rhea Ripley and have her moment, but what? She's gonna retain a world heavyweight championship. Big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like,
I think they're just counting on the fact of, hey, look, we're doing a show here that we never really done, so you should just come and see it regardless, right?
Yeah, yeah. Aaron, I think you're right. I probably should stay home because it's a freaking cunt just to get to. Believe me, it really is. So right now I'm contemplating staying home, but I do want to go just for the sake of it. But it's too far, man. Perth is just on the other side of the country. Why Perth? Like McAfee said on Raw, usually it would be in Melbourne or Sydney, but nope, we're going to Perth. So it is what it is. If it was in Melbourne or Sydney,
Perth is trying to get tourism money too.
I get that, but bro, Perth is the most, like, don't get me wrong, it's a nice city and all, but it's not anything on the East Coast, put it that way, okay? East Coast is where it's at. I tell you now, I've looked at forums, a lot of the Australian fans, and let's be real, most of the population live on the East Coast, 1. 2, most of the wrestling fans live on the East Coast. That's 2. And 3, they're all bitching, dude. Everyone is bitching, and the prices for this friggin' thing is ridiculous. The hotel cost, the plane, the airlines are charging an arm and a leg on top of that, let alone getting tickets for the damn event. Nice stadium though, beautiful stadium. You'll like the stadium, but big fuck, it's Perth. You know what I mean? It's like the 4th biggest city in Australia, bro. The 4th biggest city.
Well, they put up the most dough to get the event, so here we are.
But that they did, so it is what it is. So I hope they
Australian Civil War going on. It doesn't exist, but it's in a civil war.
Dude, I guarantee it'll be more people, or maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like it'll be more people from other states that will be at this event than Perth itself. But I don't know, man. We'll see. Anyway, that leads us to the next matchup. It's another Elimination Chamber qualifier match. It is Shayna Baszler versus Becky Lynch. And I mean, I feel bad for Shayna, man, because I feel like she should be booked a lot better than this shit. But nevertheless, Becky Lynch defeats Shayna Baszler via pinfall to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. Cool match. Could have been better. I was expecting more from these two. But it felt kind of short, Beck.
Yeah, it wasn't, like an epic match or anything like that. Becky's little fishnets tore right around the ass cheek. So if anybody wants to check that out, go check out the Raw replay. But yeah, it didn't look, the match wasn't, the layout wasn't bad, but the execution was a little bit, like that. The manhandle slam didn't really look good. It was just a case of them just not being on this particular night for the most part. Well, actually, Shayna looked like she had a little more pep in her step than usual. But there was a little, just a couple of things that weren't so great. I guess it's fine. I think one of Becky's extensions came out again too. That was funny watching the referee try to grab it off the mat. So yeah. But I kind of agree with you on the sense that this would have meant something a little bit more for Becky if Shayna had been booked instead of just as like in a half-ass tag team,
True.
It's Shayna's just kind of stuck in rebuild mode. So once they figure out what they want to do with it, I know Triple H is probably, it's like in the back of his mind on his to-do list. Okay, like we got to rehabilitate Shayna Baszler, but we got other shit going on that we got to deal with right now. We'll get to her eventually. It's not a top priority, but we'll give her a nice match, a showcase match, even a promo beforehand, which I like the way they show her like getting ready with the gi while she's cutting the promo. I like those little touches where it's just something different rather than let's just stand stock still in front of a background and say some bullshit. She was actually getting dressed while talking, so it looked a little those little different things are those details that help Raw stand out a little bit over SmackDown these days. Just a little more dynamic presentation. So as a TV viewer, it's something that people probably don't pick up on consciously, but subconsciously, it's not the same old shit as far as that stuff is going. So that was nice too. But Becky's got a win here. First time in the chamber. I didn't know that. They said that on commentary. She's never been in a chamber before.
Becky?
That's what they said. Would they lie to me? Would Michael Cole lie to us, Jimmy?
Well, there's a possibility. But I could have sworn Becky was in the last chamber match. Or the one before that. Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, that's weird. Maybe you
were wrong about those iconic Royal Rumbles, so I'm sure you don't have every women's elimination chamber memorized.
No, that definitely I don't. But you refreshed my memory, and then I agreed with you. So yeah, you're right. That's spot on. It's funny what Aaron says in the chat, and I'm sure he's referring to Elimination Chamber. He says the show sounds like the shows they had here in Tel Aviv in '95, where there were no stars or champions. The W is coming, so you should as well. I'm sorry for my father that he bought tickets. Well, I don't even remember
like
Tel Aviv.
Duke the Dumpster versus Adam Bomb in the main event.
Yeah, probably had Salvatore.
It's time to take out the trash.
Wow. I mean, shit. I don't even remember them actually touring in Tel Aviv in '95. I remember they cancelled. Yeah, I know. No, because funny enough, in '95, I remember there was supposed to be a tour down here. They cancelled it though. I guess bad ticket sales. Everyone was WCW crazy. Maybe at the time. Not yet, actually. 96 was that time. But
in that era.
What? No, really.
I just threw that out there. That'd be hilarious if it was.
No shit, Aaron. Was that really the main event, or are you trolling us? I need to know this now, man. I have to know. But
they probably got the Hulk Hogan main event. They went on before intermission, so that Adam Bomb and Duke the Dumpster could beat the traffic.
Wow, that's crazy, man. That is bad. That's pathetic if they did that. Look, I do think there will be big stars that will. I think The Rock will make the trip down under. I mean, he actually was living
in damage control mode.
Yeah, well, whatever the case, I do think because Perth did come out and say, what is it going to take to bring The Rock down? I do think he'll come down here. I don't think he's going to be all the stars out. I don't know about Roman or not, but what does this mean? And I'll get to that, actually. There's no point of getting to it now because it got me wondering, but I'll ask you when we get there. But anyway, as we said, Becky Lynch defeats Shayna Baszler to go on to the Elimination Chamber. Next, we get footage of Shinsuke Nakamura attacking Cody Rhodes at a house show over the weekend as they hype their Bullrope match tonight. Adam Pearce then berates McIntyre in his office, fining him for his habit of attacking injured wrestlers. That's pretty funny. He'll double it if he sees Drew wearing that shirt again. Oh, come on, Pearce. McIntyre then points out that Rhea Ripley is making her entrance and looks pretty pissed as Pearce runs off to deal with that. And then that's when we see Mummy isn't swayed by the crowd chanting her name. She knows Lynch qualified for the chamber, but she doesn't care. She wants Nia Jax in the ring right now so she can rip her head off. Pearce then interrupts to say, we're not doing this right now, but he's given her Jax for the title at Elimination Chamber, and that's it. And then we see, actually, Nia Jax come to the ring. They have a good old scrap, but it seems like Nia gets the
good
best of Mummy.
Donnybrook, would you say?
A good old-fashioned Donnybrook, bro. But Nia gets the best of Rhea and then goes on to slap her and say, I'll see you in Perth, bitch. Or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. It's going to be Australia's own Nia Jax versus Australia's own Rhea Ripley. You think I'm trolling? I'm being serious.
Yeah. I like Rhea Ripley.
Me too. I mean, I think we all do. But see, again, I'm confused. So
But I liked her before everybody did.
Hey,
she was still blonde and fresh-faced and unpierced.
I liked her when she was blonde. I liked her when she was blonde too. But
I liked her more than you.
You probably did. I mean, you were covering her in NXT at the time, obviously.
That's right, in the Young Classic.
Yeah, exactly. I remember that too. But what I'm confused about, excuse me, so is Mummy going to be a babyface, I assume now?
Yes.
Where does that leave Judgment Day, though, in all of this? Okay. Do you think there's a chance they kick her out of Judgment Day? Because, she becomes a babyface, she's too big for her own good, blah, blah, blah.
I don't know. I think she can be a heel and people just keep cheering her.
Yeah, maybe, I guess.
I mean, she hasn't done anything out of character. She just doesn't like Nia Jax and wants to fight her. That's not a baby face thing. That's just a normal bitch attack me thing. Yeah.
Right, 100%.
And R-Truth is turning Judgment Day into kind of baby faces just by them being a comedy act now.
Yeah, so. That's true too. I mean,
and Damian Priest wearing all that makeup and everything is turning them into a comedy act.
Yeah,
looks like fucking Michael Jackson '89.
Just beat it, Vet. God damn it.
Okay.
Anyway, what's up, Azol? Thank you for joining us, man. Thank you very much. I just want to point out also, you threw me off with that damn comment. God damn it. But now that I've just remembered, is this the worst time ever now for Damian Priest to be the Money in the Bank or Mr. Senior Money in the Bank right now? Because I feel like time's running out for him. He's got, a few more months left to cash it in. And right now, I don't think, or any time this year, to be fair, is the right time for him to cash it. I think he's going to lose it if he cashes it.
Probably will. I mean, I just don't see a scenario where he gets to be a world champion of any kind.
I guess you're right. I don't either right now anyway. Well, let's move on to the next matchup, shall we, though? Because, I mean, we do get a recap of Damage Control, but who cares? We already know about that. It is Akira Tozawa and Maxime Dupree versus Ivar and Valhalla. I mean, this is a squash match. Ivar and Valhalla defeat Akira Tozawa and Maxime Dupree via pinfall. No surprise there. Anything to really say about this match? I doubt it.
I was taking the trash out to the street because it's trash day today. So I kind of didn't see what happened here.
Well, I don't blame you. I was taking a piss. I mean, I already knew who was going to win the match. So it's not like, And really, it wasn't a good match. It wasn't a bad match. It was just a squash match. So whatever. It is what it is. But that leads us to the next matchup. It is JD McDonough versus The Miz. And dude, this felt like a squash match also. I mean, The Miz defeats McDonough via pinfall. And before, I like to point out, Truth made a bet. So he collects some money and celebrates with The Miz on stage as Tom and JD try to figure out what just happened. What did happen, Van?
Was this the one where Truth came out and was giving Judgment Day shirts to the people?
He could have been, yeah.
I don't know when else the Judgment Day was out there, so I think that's kind of, that was part of it, and then that's what allowed Miz to pick up the win as some sort of. I know JD was distracted by something because they're gonna beat JD. They just wanted to give him his out. But forgive me if I wasn't paying too close attention again. I may have still been gathering some trash at this point.
I don't blame you. But look, man, is the end game Truth and Judgment Day becoming baby faces? I mean, Truth is already a baby face, but is the end game Truth being part of Judgment Day and say kicking out JD McDonough? He's just a loser anyway. He's a jobber for the Judgment Day.
I don't know. Maybe they'll turn them all. Maybe they can do the full. You thought a double turn at WrestleMania 13 was crazy. What about a quintuple turn?
Oh, God, please. Let's not go there. Well, anyway, let's move on to the next segment. There's not much to really talk about when it comes to that. We see Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci are grilling Adam Pearce to ensure everything is perfect for Gunther's celebration. Pearce assures them it is, then says he needs the room for a meeting as there's a knock on the door, Vet, and it's the wolf dog, Bron Breakker, to review the offer Pearce made him. And that's that. Then we get footage of CM Punk in surgery. But so does this mean Bron Breakker is Raw, or we don't know yet because there is SmackDown this Friday?
We don't know yet. Not only because he's got to visit both brands, but also because they don't let him say anything. Can you imagine if Braun Breaker, so you're Braun Breaker, right? Here you are. Hi, I'm Braun Breaker. And I come in and I got to make a flight and I got to rent a car and I got to drive to the building. And then I drive to the building and then I sit around all day and they tell me what I'm doing. And all I'm doing is walking into a room and standing there looking smug for like 30 seconds. And then that's it. My day is done. Then I got to get back in my rental car, drive back to the hotel, go back the next day, drive to the airport, get on the plane, go back to Orlando, get in the ring and do some drills and shit like that for NXT. Jeez. So I can celebrate the, like, he better have gotten a match on Main Event. Like, that's all I can say. Like, if he went all the way there, he better have had like a dark match or a Main Event match or something like that. Because walking into a room and making a smug face for 30 seconds, that's not worth the hours and hours of time out of your life that you'll never get back.
I agree. And hasn't he already made the rounds with Raw and SmackDown already? Why does he need to do it again? Like,
because I don't know.
Because WWE, right? I mean, just like the comic.
Yeah, where's Todd Brantley in here?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm surprised he didn't even give a woof.
Yeah.
Not even a woof, bro.
And the whole thing is with him and Baron Corbin, they've been definitely trying to play up Braun's comedic chops or his improv abilities and stuff like that. So he's been trying to work on having a personality other than just yelling at people. And he doesn't even get to showcase that. He gets to just stand there silently. While Adam Pearce ad-libs some stuff about, here's the contract I gave. What a waste. And speaking of a waste, right? Where's Jade Cargill been since the Royal Rumble?
Oh, yeah. Good point. I haven't actually... She's been out of sight, out of mind since the Rumble. I'm not going to lie.
She was the original person to just come in and stand there and say nothing. You know?
True.
Like, now Braun's got her spot. And she's off TV. Like, you mean to tell me she can't even make an appearance?
Yeah, I mean, are they waiting possibly for after Mania to bring her in?
That. You put her in the Rumble. You asked for it. Now you got to deliver. True. You know, no one told you to put her in the Rumble, so now we need her on television.
I can see them going with the Raw after Mania to debut her, man.
Why not just look? You don't have to put her out there in like a 20-minute clinic every week, but can she like go around backstage and interact with people? Could she go to like the Alpha Academy and say, oh, what you guys doing? Working out? I do a little bit of that myself. Or just whatever. Just do something. Let her walk into Judgment Day and talk to R-Truth. Can we just have people on the show, please? You know, please?
It's true. But you know them. I'm telling you, it's going to be the Raw after Mania unless she's a surprise entrant in the Elimination Chamber, possibly, which wouldn't surprise me.
Good. I would hate for that to be my debut match.
I mean, she has to win it if they do that, but more than likely they won't, but we'll see. I'm still going to stick with the Raw after Mania because I could just see him doing that just because.
Lazy as hell.
Lazy as hell, I agree. And like I said, I wasn't even thinking about it, but yeah, you're right. Next, we see Kaiser and Vinci in the ring to introduce the Ring General, which is the Ring General. Well, in German / Austrian, it's the Ring General. You know what I mean, Vic? Come on. The Ring General for the latest celebration of his historic Intercontinental title reign. All the Imperium lads look very spiffy, though, Vet, in their black casual suits. And Gunther has a big smile on his face as he gets a microphone. To the surprise of nobody, he's here celebrating the jubilee of 600 days as Intercontinental Champion. But to be honest, he appreciates it. Ludwig then setting this up, but he doesn't want it anymore. 700 days, 1,000 days. He's been the greatest IC champ of all time, will never change. In fact, he's running out of competition. There is no man here who's worthy of challenging him for this title until we hear the yeets. And as Jey Uso is here, as Pat McAfee gets on the table and is bouncing with all of St. Louis. Anyway, Gunther gets it. Simple gestures for the simple audience, which made me laugh. He reminds also that he eliminated him from the Rumble. Jey says he means no disrespect and puts over the Ring General's credentials. Gunther then replies by listing Jay's tag team records, then says, and you only had to put in 50% of the work, which made me laugh also.
Good line.
Kind of true.
Good line.
Very good line. But Jay responded with another great line, I felt, with Jay replying that Gunther's about to get all of this work and states his intention to end the big Austrian's reign. And he also goes on to say that, you know, he's the longest reigning tag team champion in history, main events at WrestleMania, you know, the whole spiel. The champ congrats Jay on finally stepping out of his family's shadow, but he's going to wish for the good old days when people couldn't tell him and his brother apart, which was a great line also. A shoulder shove from the champ prompts Uso to attack, but Imperium's numbers win out. And then we get the New Day to make the save, and that's that. I like this segment a lot, as a matter of fact. Vet, I thought this was probably better than the opening segment. Actually, it was.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, if you want to talk about me being on top of the industry for, you know, at least half a decade at a time, all the time, you know, way back when he was Fat Walter in WXW, I was telling everybody, you need to watch out for this guy.
Fat Walter, huh?
Yep, remember Fat Walter?
I do.
Yep. I was like, this guy's got it. He's going to be something as long as he wants to. Back then, he said he never wanted to move to the United States. He said he never wanted to sign with WWE. And of course, now fast forward, he's done both of those things. But he hasn't gotten worse. He's actually gotten better. He's gotten in much better shape. He's gotten much better on the microphone. Not that he was ever really bad, but, you know, in indie shows, you don't talk that much. So
no,
he didn't really have an
true.
opportunity, right? He's been good since the indies. He's been good since NXT UK. He's been good since NXT, and he's good now. And he's only getting better. And what I don't like, even though I liked all of this stuff, what I don't like is the idea that, you know, Jey Uso might win. I definitely think it's important to keep Walter undefeated, because that undefeated streak is going to come in handy later down the line. We may not know exactly when yet, but you'll know when it's the right time to pull the trigger. And this is not that time. A random Jey Uso is not the guy to be the one in, you know, however many and one, you know, like the old Brock Lesnar.
The one in one? Right.
Yeah. He should not be the guy just to get him to just to do this for Jey Uso. It's not going to help Jey Uso, but you could take it anytime somebody's got an unbeaten streak. That's good booking. That's good booking fuel or fodder or whatever you want to say, because whatever you put that up against, there's stakes there now, right? So if he goes, let's just say, for example, Roman Reigns, he's the champion, versus Walter, who hasn't been defeated. Something's got to give, right?
Right.
Either we're going to get a first loss or we're going to get a title loss or whatever. So that's exciting because you don't know what's going to happen. If Jey Uso has beaten Walter once for the Intercontinental title, you lose all that. So not that it's going to end his career or anything, but I'm just saying everything's that much better. You know, when a streak is on the line, it's kind of like things that have happened with the Undertaker, right? Like, you know, the streak, once you've ended the streak, now the streak doesn't mean anything. Or like, remember back when, you know, this is very timely, a timely reference. Remember when CM Punk was like a record-setting WWE champion, and then The Rock just came in and beat him?
At Elimination Chamber, as a matter of fact, if I remember right.
The Rock just came in and beat CM Punk and took his belt.
True.
And then they were like, oh, by the way, CM Punk, you're working with The Undertaker at WrestleMania this year. So now you've got nothing to go up against the streak. You either had title reign versus streak on the table. The Rock comes in, ruins everything, and then you just had a meaningless match against CM Punk with The Undertaker, which you knew The Undertaker was going to win, because why wouldn't he? That was back when we never thought the streak would end, and it sure didn't end that day. So thanks, Rock. See what I mean when I says he has a history of showing up and ruining everything?
And he has a history of showing up around this time too, funny enough.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just right for, you know, WrestleMania season, correct? I mean, Shit.
So my point is, keep that Walter undefeated streak, please.
Well, like Liz says, any Walter is a fantastic Walter. And he did find a wife and baby once he moved to the US also. So yeah,
shout outs
right,
to
Liz.
Ginny. Damn. We had to lose Ginny in the ring.
Oh, well, I mean, but Gunther got her in the ring, if you know what I mean.
You got her in that other four-cornered apparatus.
Anyway, Aaron says, but is it really... But it's unrealistic as nobody can remain undefeated. Yeah, you can. Why is it unrealistic?
Of course you can. Floyd Mayweather still hasn't been defeated. And that's supposedly real life. So come on.
Right.
But the point I'm saying is he's undefeated until you need him not to be. So I'm saying don't waste the undefeated streak on fucking Jey Uso. Okay, one half of a twin tag team. Don't do that.
But now that you said that, I can see them pulling the... Like, when is this match supposed to happen? Is it going to be at Elimination Chamber?
It's going to be at WrestleMania on the grandest stage of them all.
Of course it is.
Main event, Jey Uso versus the Ring Girl.
Sorry, man. You fucking funny guy. The Ring Girl. You're a character, bro. Anyway, yeah, it's the Ring Girl, but yeah, I'll go with the Ring Girl. That is too good. Anyway, next we see Shinsuke Nakamura cutting a promo in Japanese, of course, on Cody, promising pain and shame in their bull rope match tonight. He hears people saying, "We want Cody," but no, he want Cody, as he says.
Come on. Hey, Jimmy, do you think that you think they write an English promo and give it to Nakamura and tell him to translate it?
That wouldn't surprise me, actually.
Or do you think
that's the only way?
Yeah, or do you think he tells them what he wants to say and they write English for it? Or a mix?
Well, I'm hoping he's the one that kind of, is the guy that writes his own promo, because they possibly can't write it in Japanese, obviously, unless they have someone that can do it for him. But,
well, you know what it seems like to me, honestly? It seems like it's a white guy that's trying to write a promo in the style of translated subtitles. Because the way that the promos are written on the screen, it's like somebody's idea of like trying to sound like a martial arts movie or something. They don't. He's not talking like the way a person would talk. He's talking like the way a person would think a Japanese translation would talk, if that makes sense.
It does make sense, but
he's slightly. I understand enough Japanese to know that he slightly is not saying it exactly. It's the same gist of it, but So anyway, I just pointed that out.
Well, you're lucky that they haven't done the ad-libbing. The dubbing, right. Where it's like, "Yo, Cody."
The Kai-en-tai.
Yeah, indeed. Remember that? Speaking of Kai-en-tai, have you heard of Funaki's son? Apparently he's getting into the wrestling business.
Oh, shit.
Look out for Kai-en-tai Part 2. I mean, don't be surprised. I don't know. I haven't seen him. I just heard it on a podcast. But anyway, I have no idea what that'll be in it. Look, maybe they got AI to do it for,
Yeah, it could be.
Have you noticed that they used AI for WWE 2K24, for example? Was it you that told me that?
I don't know.
Someone told me that, but it's true. They did. But which is quite interesting. But speaking of Japan and Japanese, next we do see the Kabuki Warriors in Asuka and Kairi Sane, who are your champions, by the way, versus Katana Chance and Kaden Carter for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. The K-Sounds, exactly. But unfortunately for you, Vet, K-Sounds lost to the K-Warriors again.
Well,
what's up with that?
They're seasoned veterans, and they can't be defeated by a couple of simple ravers, even though they are the greatest women's tag team of all time. They're just not as strong as the Kabuki Warriors, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, they're not.
Yeah, this match, I felt bad for them because they were working hard, but the crowd didn't care.
Yeah, that's
Until
true.
like maybe like the very, very end, they cared a little bit, but um, yeah, they were, they weren't buying the K sounds really. St. Louis wasn't. So that was kind of sucks. And I hate when that happens to inexperienced people because they try to get the crowd by screaming. They're like, "Come on," like
Yeah.
and it's just it's not gonna work if they don't like you. Um, like Cody could look at those people and just like raise his eyebrows a little bit, and they'll go nuts. And those girls could bust their ass, and the people would just, So sometimes it is what it is, and you can't do anything about it. The match was okay. I love Asuka and Kyrie. I love them so much.
Me too.
And I'm fans of the K Sounds. I'm proud of the progress they made. So we'll see where they go from here. But I don't really think it hurts them not to win. Just because of how because how established. Like if they were trading the belts back and forth with like Natalia and Tegan Knox or like Piper and Chelsea or something like that, then you could be like, yeah, this kind of hurts. But these two women, yeah, they're the best. They can beat anybody. It doesn't hurt them.
Well, Elizabeth says AI is the downfall of society. I don't know, man. There's pluses and negatives, obviously, for AI, but I kind of like it for some things. But anyway, Aaron Ben Shlomo thinks Asuka is too cartoony. I mean, she's essentially playing her Kana character in many ways from Japan. I mean, she was always Kana in Japan. But yeah, does she overdo her sort of Asuka? You know what I mean? Does she overdo it, man, a little bit, especially these days?
I don't think so. I like it.
Yeah.
I like Kyrie too because she's a little more subtle.
I love that about her.
She's still doing funny things if you watch her like in the background. She's always doing something funny, but she's not really like playing it up like Asuka. Asuka's playing it up. She's doing it big. She's doing maybe ever since she's been around, it seems like she's trying to play it up and be bigger, because she knows that the showmanship is a huge part of American wrestling. So she's got that from day one.
Absolutely. Well, see, I got my Curry Sane autograph card right there, dude.
Ooh,
yeah.
Pirate Princess.
The Pirate Princess, old school. Not really, but you know what I mean. But anyway, yeah, look, I love both of these women. Obviously, they're two of my favorites in women's wrestling, period. That also brings me up, and I want to ask you, I know you guys will talk about it tomorrow, but did you see, I'm assuming you've already watched the NXT Vengeance PLE, right?
Yes, unfortunately.
I'm not going to ask you about the matches because there's no point. You and Big Ray will touch on that tomorrow over at HMG/Channel Attitude. But I just want to ask, did you see that little teaser, that little video, whatever the hell it was? You think that's for Julia or for Okada? People are speculating that it's Okada. I think it's for Julia, but that's just me. Has nothing to do with Okada.
Look, if Okada ever even steps foot in NXT, that's going to be a worse decision than The Rock replacing Cody at WrestleMania.
I agree. No,
you cannot even allow him to see those doors unless he's just coming in just to work out and stuff like that, before he to stay in ring shape or just to meet everybody, like CM Punk was in NXT. He's been hanging around NXT. It doesn't mean he's on their program wrestling, So like if he shows up at the Performance Center, that's fine. You can't bring a star of that magnitude in like that. That's an absolute death. Julia, on the other hand, much less world-renowned and probably needs a little bit of... because as good as she is, she's more of a star than she is like a great, amazing wrestler. So she needs the work. She needs the work, and she can get reacquainted with people there, much in the same way that Asuka did. Obviously, Asuka had already had a full career by the time she showed up in NXT, right. But they were able to use her. Now. Yeah, they were able to use her as a draw, right?
Absolutely.
And Julia can maybe be that, especially since they've NXT's talked about going back on the road and doing some shows. So if you build up Julia correctly, you can use her as a draw in that way, maybe. On the other hand, this vignette that you're talking about, like, I kind of didn't, like, I saw it, but I didn't see it, so I couldn't really speculate on who it's supposed to be for.
Look, it was a bunch of nothing. It was just a black screen with words, and really, it had nothing to do with Julia or
something
Okada.
about faces. Everybody has 3 faces, or whatever. Yeah, I didn't get it. It was a bunch of mumbo jumbo. Could have been anybody.
It could be anybody, but I think the rumors are pretty strong with Julia. You know, I think it will be her that they're referring to. But Aaron thinks, Jimmy and WWE don't give him too much credit. But they're not AEW, Aaron. They don't usually do silly shit like AEW would, right? At least generally they're hinting with what you think it's going to be, and generally it is. You know what I mean?
Remember, this WWE is in the process of, like, turning the ship around.
Exactly.
They still having to clean up messes that were left from years before.
100. They're not that stupid, Aaron. Come on now. You know what I mean? But anyway, we'll see who that is. We could be wrong. I could be wrong. But I'm leaning towards Julia.
And Tony has a big announcement on Wednesday. That could be Okada too,
It could be. And if it is, dude, I'll be so disappointed if he goes AEW. I'm not going to lie, bro. I feel like he needs to, like, make that move to WWE.
A la carte, Jimmy. A la carte.
I know. Hey, look, it's better
He's a delicious Okada no matter where he ends up.
It's much better for us, absolutely, if he's in AEW, because, after the collision, we sift through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the wreckage.
That wreckage. Exactly. But still, he's been there, done that. I want to see him in WWE. And, I just think he'd be such a star if used right. And I don't think Triple H would actually screw him over. I think he'd give him every chance to succeed. But truth be told, Vet, and let's be honest, right? As much as we love Japanese wrestling, 95% of the WWE audience, right? Or actually, 95% of the Western wrestling audience probably don't know who the fuck Okada is. I mean, let's be honest.
That's not true. That's not
true. You don't agree?
No, it's a much lower percentage than that. It's like, I would venture to say it's probably closer in the 65 to 70 range. Don't know who he is. He's got quite a presence in, if nothing else, than reputation. Obviously, there's a lot of people who probably never watch any of his matches, but they've heard of him. Sure. And that usually doesn't happen. Usually they're like, who the fuck is this guy? No, everybody knows the name, even if they've never seen him before or couldn't pick him out of a lineup. So that's already different.
But would he realistically push the needle? I mean, let's be honest.
I mean, who pushes the needle?
Fair
like,
point.
what kind of ratings are these shows still getting no matter who's on it?
It's true. I mean,
The Rock ain't pushing the needle.
Yeah, what was SmackDown?
CM Punk ain't really pushing the needle. He's pushing it a little bit, but not in like a major way. And then whatever.
Yeah, it's not about the ratings. It's not even about the ratings.
The point is, here's the thing that everybody forgets. Because I see a lot of people talk about this like, oh, so-and-so's not a star, or so-and-so doesn't move the needle, or so-and-so blah, blah, blah. And they see the ratings come out and people are like, see, they didn't move the needle or whatever. But this is the thing. WWE it's called a wrestling promotion.
Mm-hmm.
Their job is to sign the talent and make the talent known to everybody. It's not their job. It's not the talent's job necessarily. Obviously, the talent has their end of the bargain, but WWE is supposed to sign people and get you to know them. That's their job. It's called promotion. What do you think the word promotion means?
It's spot on. You're right. That's why you're the vet. I mean, come on. No,
so
right.
if Okada's not a big enough star now, then the WWE's going to take him and make him one.
Let's hope so, and let's hope they do if he ends up there. But we'll see. Time will tell. Vet, that leaves us to where are we? Next it is,
we saw some Kabuki Warriors last, I think.
Yes, we did, and they defeated, K-Sounds. But next we see, well, what's this? Apparently, because I missed this bit, but we get a bit more hype for the Rock Talk and announcements of 2 matches for next week: Imperium versus Jey Uso and New Day, and R-Truth versus JD McDonough. Cool. Who cares? Wait, are we getting all this at Thursday's presser? Really?
No.
Okay, hang on. It says also. Okay, no.
I think they're billboarding next week's matches, and they're also telling you about that thing on Thursday from Las Vegas.
Right. I thought they were booking matches for that thing in Vegas. I'm surprised it's going to be on at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's a bit late for a presser, don't you think?
I don't know. Maybe they're maybe they don't want to. They want to make sure everybody has enough time to get in and watch Impact.
Well, yeah, maybe. You threw me off again there, Bet. Nice. Well, look, I think there's going to be a lot of shenanigans. Obviously, this one's going to be pure kayfabe, I think, compared to their usual, after event presses. But we'll see. I'm actually going to watch it. I'm kind of looking forward to it, just to see what Triple H has got to say about all this bullshit going on. But anyway, that leads us to the main event, and this could be the quickest Raw review I think we've ever done, dude. Good. I mean, 3-hour show in just over an hour. I mean, come on.
And we still talked about other stuff for 15 minutes.
I know.
We talked about The Rock and Cody for 15 minutes.
Absolutely incredible. I did say we'll breeze through it, so here we are. We've breezed it. And that leads us to the main event, which is Cody Rhodes versus Shinsuke Nakamura in a bull rope match. And dude, there was blood, there was bull ropes, and Cody defeats Nakamura once again.
Was there blood, or was there?
Yeah, mist? There was a lot of blood. Oh, you know what, dude? If there was mist, I missed it. Okay, well,
you missed the mist.
I must have missed the mist because I saw red. Can he not use red mist, for crying out loud?
Mister, you must have missed the mist. Don't miss the mist.
So he got missed, and that's what it was. Really?
That's what I mean. If he bled on top of the mist, but it was both red, so I don't know. It was the same bull rope that Dusty used against superstar Billy Graham in 1977, and Dusty Rhodes has been using the same raggedy bull rope with duct tape on it and a rusty bell and everything, and so Shinsuke's got to get checked for hepatitis now and all this other stuff. But yes, historic bull rope.
Ben, are we getting like on WWE 2K, the video game, where we get...
Is that one of the new modes? Ambulance match? Bull rope match?
Bull rope match. Well, have they even got that yet? I don't think they do, actually. You're right.
It's time to take out the trash. I mean, it's time to put in the bull rope match.
Maybe we need Stan Hansen with the bull rope swinging like a madman. But
that's right. So for 2K20, what is it, 25 now? Or 24?
24.
Since when do you put the current year in your title? It's always supposed to be the next year, right?
I know, it confuses me, dude. I'm not gonna lie, it actually does confuse me.
Well, anyway, yeah, 2K24 is we gotta add Duke the Dumpster Drozy in the Legends. We gotta add Adam Bomb in the Legends, and we gotta add the bull rope match, and we gotta add the Tel Aviv Arena. Okay, so that we can recreate Aaron Ben Shlomo's childhood. Because nobody loves 2K more than Aaron Ben Shlomo. So we have to do this right for him. So everybody, forget the We Want Cody hashtags. We want dumpster hashtags. Okay? Get that so that 2K is so it's trending. We need to make this happen.
We want Tel Aviv. Hashtag Tel Aviv as well. Mm-hmm. Tel Aviv Arena, whatever it's called.
Tel Aviv, telephone, telewrestler.
Sorry, Aaron. Come on, it's funny.
He's loving it right now.
Oh shit!
We just turned this into a show for one man on Earth.
Yeah, Liz says it was the miss. Thank you, Liz. He says, "Give me 3 faces of Terry Runnels, and I'm happy." And I'm happy.
Alexandra York, Marlena, and Terry Runnels.
And Terry Runnels, yeah. And can we get a PMS as well, Terry Runnels?
Oh,
yeah. Remember that? PMS, pal. God, that was so stupid. Exactly.
Tell me that was a Russo one, right? That sounds like him.
That was definitely a Russo. It was definitely
Pretty Mean Sisters, bro.
Yes.
PMS. It's hilarious.
You know what's funny? I don't know if you caught Jargo just got back to me and he sent me the invite to the StreamYard. That's why we got StreamYard the way it is. God damn it.
Yeah, anyway, this is the Braun Breakers Trunks StreamYard.
It's the bare friggin' bum streamer. But anyway, Five Faces, that is a DLC. Yes, Aaron, it is. There was something I was meant to point out. Now I forgot. It's funny because I text Jargo not to do that, but even though it surprised me, but to join us on the Raw review, but he got back to me a bit too late. Well, Azol says apparently now we can finally throw weapons in WWE 2K24. What do you mean throw weapons?
Like, you know, like when RVD would throw the chair at a guy, like he did at he did to who did he throw that chair? Who was it that match?
He's done it to plenty of people, dude.
Yeah, I know, but I was just because it was just on
Swerve, yes. That was that was a not bad match for what it was, but yeah. I mean, RVD is just, I mean, he looks good, but he's getting a bit old. You know what I mean?
You don't get better at something by not doing it. That's
true. But anyway, back to the bull rope match, Vet.
That's right. His father's original bull rope.
His father's original. Like I said, we're getting a live showcase. That'll be showcased with Cody. Mm-hmm. Are they putting him through the ringers, dude? So we're going to have a cage match possibly next week against, I don't know, whoever is they throw at him next. Maybe Nakamura again, for you know. I mean,
yeah, I don't think. Here's a problem with Cody, right? So we've said lots of nice things about how Cody needs to finish the story and everything.
That's the bad ones now.
But that's we're you know, I don't know how you personally feel about Cody, like as a fan. As a fan, like I can take or leave him, like whatever. It's Cody, whatever. It's when I say he needs to finish the story, I'm just saying the same way I laid out the Rocky analogy, right? Like the story you wrote,
right?
Yeah, the story you wrote has a certain ending. If you don't deliver that ending, it's just a bad story. That's all I'm saying. It could have been anybody. You could have wrote the story for anybody. You chose to write it for Cody. That wasn't my choice. That wasn't the fans' choice. That was your choice. And when you start telling that story, you need to finish that story. You cannot just change the ending and make the ending to a different story without upsetting everybody, right? I spelled that out with the Rocky thing. It's like if Rocky doesn't go the distance at the end and instead Apollo knocks him out in the first round and Adrian leaves with another man, then that's not the ending to that story that you were telling us. That's a different movie entirely. So
that's a whole different Adrian at the end,
right? Yeah, no, Adrian. Yeah. Yeah. So that's all I'm saying. But here's what I don't like about Cody's run. Cody has these like rivalries, but they're completely one-sided. He beat Seth Rollins 3 times in a row. He beat Nakamura. This is like the 4th time in a row. So like a rivalry is supposed to have like at least a little bit of give and take. Like you got to lose one at some point. The only person that got one on Cody was Brock. It's the only person. And I'm surprised that Brock got that the way things were going. So yeah, Cody's rivalries end up tending to make the other person look like bad, right? I know they're meant to make him look strong, but I'm not saying you have to beat Cody. I'm just saying don't have him beat the same guy so many times, right? Like let him beat him once and move on. Just, you know, and he should not have beat Seth Rollins with one arm in Hell in a Cell because that makes Seth Rollins
unrealistic,
terrible,
stupid. It's stupid.
Yeah. So and that gives a chance for Rollins to get some heat because Rollins was supposed to be a heel at that time. So now he doesn't even get the heat to be able to brag about beating a one-armed guy. And everybody be like, you know, oh, fuck you, Seth Rollins. You know he was injured. We all saw it. You shouldn't be proud of it. Boo, boo. You're wearing women's clothes. Boo. Like, you know, that we didn't even get that. Somehow Rollins came out as a babyface in all this. So, you know, you turn Rollins' face because he had sympathy for not being able to beat anybody. And now look where we are.
Yeah, I know. It's weird.
So I really kind of like, am disappointed that they choose Nakamura. It's nice that they can have good matches and everything, but Nakamura losing 4 times in a row, it's like, okay, now what for him? Kind of leaves him, you know, who does Cody Rhodes think he is? The Rock? So,
well, Super Cena. I mean, it's Super Cody at this point. He hardly loses.
Shit. At least Cena these days doesn't win matches like that. He's gone too far the other direction. I'm like, God damn, can Cena win one match? Like, see, which is exactly what I said should have happened a long time ago. when everybody was
Weird.
booing John Cena. It's like, you got to get sympathy. Let people beat you for a change.
I 100% agree with you. And Chris Willen wants to know, was Andrade on Raw? I skipped through more than half of the show. I hope he doesn't get the Ricochet treatment. Any word on him or Strowman either? Strowman, no. And as far as Andrade, I'm pretty sure he signed with SmackDown this past Friday on SmackDown.
Did he?
He did. I'm sure of it. I saw it. He did. I'm pretty sure. Yes, I did. I did. I saw it. He's like, okay. I cannot sign with SmackDown in my mask, as Chris would say. Shout out to Chris.
And my wife.
And my wife. He was getting him ready and pissing him up. I'm pretty sure they're going to put him on SmackDown anyway. I did see it because, let's be honest, his wife is on SmackDown. So that puts him on SmackDown. And as far as Strowman, I have no idea what's going on with him. He should be ready by this point, right?
Yeah, nobody wants Braun Strowman around.
And I'm one of them.
Brown strong man, as Jim Cornette called him.
Brown strong man. Now the best is when he says Zangief from Street Fighter. Zangief.
Don't disparage the great wrestler Zangief by comparing him to Brown Strongman.
Cornette makes me laugh, man. He's one of the best. Absolutely. Lucky we're not on channelattitude.com saying that, but you know. Anyway, Liz says he's got a catchy entrance music we can sing along to. That's true, but
she could be talking about any number of guys there. She may have been talking about Nakamura. She could have been talking about Cody. She could have been talking about Seth Franklin Rollins, another Jim Cornette classic.
And Aaron wants to know, I do not understand what is the problem with one roster to all shows and you never know who will show up. I agree. I prefer them together also, but that's not what we have. But then again, we're seeing Raw and SmackDown Superstars coming on each other's shows anyway. We're getting that already, Aaron. I mean, come on.
Wild card, bitches.
Yeah. Soon we're going to have the Super Show. What would they used to call it? Raw Super Show? Whatever the
Super SmackDown and Raw Super Show. Yeah.
So dumb.
Get the fuck out of here. Dude, okay, look. Whatever you want to do, you can make it work. They're just bad at it. Like, you can make a split roster work, and you can make a combined roster work. But neither one of them is working.
Stick to it. Right, because they don't stick to it 100%. You know what I mean? That's the problem, dude. You can't have it both ways.
Yeah. But you're also going to have people that's like, well, these are our biggest stars and we want as many eyeballs at all times, but that's why, see, that's what championships should be about. Right. Like, a champion should always be able to float between the shows. And then you could get rid of some belts and you could consolidate belts, you know, and then you can have, if you want somebody that's such a big star that they could be on Raw and SmackDown, then give them a belt and then they can do that. I mean, if they're that good of a star, they should get a belt, right? So, you know, one major title, one mid-card title, one set of tag team titles, and those are the people that can go back and forth.
Yeah, well, it's all about marketing and money, man. That's the reason why we got belts on both brands and whatnot. You know what I mean? It's to make money.
Yeah, but you can make a belt, dude. That's bullshit, because you can make a belt anytime you want for the fans to buy. You don't need to make it a real championship. Dude, when did how much was that Bray Wyatt The Fiend championship? What was that, like $6,500 or something like that?
Yeah, that's because
did that ever appear on television?
No.
No. So they just made it for people to buy. So you can make any damn thing you want if we're talking about money and merchandising. It doesn't have to be part of the actual show. You know what I mean? Look, all I'm saying is everybody sucks at everything except me, and I'm a genius. That's all I'm trying to say. But it's so simple. Yeah.
Moose.
That's the Arn Anderson. I don't want to toot my own horn, but toot.
Actually, speaking of Arn Anderson, did you manage to check out Undertaker's top 4?
Oh, like a Mount Rushmore deal?
He's Mount Rushmore, dude. And get this, Arn Anderson was in his Mount Rushmore. What the hell?
Yeah, well, everybody has their own idea of a Mount Rushmore, so I'm not going to disparage his.
The Rock was also part of that. Stone Cold wasn't. Ric Flair was another one. I can't remember the last one. I'll get
Rock,
back
Ric
to you on
Flair,
that.
Arn Anderson, and
Not himself. I can't remember the last one, dude. Doesn't matter. Someone will know in the chat. I'm pretty sure. Also, there was something. I feel bad for Aaron, but he says, "I want shows in Israel as well. In the eyes of WWE, we do not exist." Well, Aaron, you got to show him the money. You know what I mean? It's all about the money. Now, I don't know what you got to do, but write to your local council, your local government, whatever, your state government. I don't know how
I think
it works.
the Israeli government's busy right now.
Well, yeah, that's true. But that's what you got to do. The way these all work now, Aaron, essentially everyone bids for all these PLEs, man. You know what I mean? And whoever's the highest bidder gets the PLE. That's basically how it is. I know it sucks, but it's WWE's smart like that, dude. They've managed to somehow, make all these cities around the world bid for this shit. I mean, look how many international PLEs we have this year already. After Australia, we've got all right, they've come to Australia. They've already done a few PLEs here in the past, but, they've never done one in Germany, I don't think. So that's a first this year. And also France for Backlash, wasn't it? I think. Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing a France one. France not known as like a hotbed of pro wrestling for sure.
No. But again, it's all about the money. They must have put up the money, and that's all that matters. So regardless if it's a hotbed or not, I bet you it will still sell out though.
Yeah, I mean, there's fans everywhere in the world, but
everywhere, dude.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that you can get a live show all the time. So the world's a big place, in case everybody doesn't know.
That's true.
I know that. I know some people think parts of it don't exist, but they actually do. I wonder how many people are going to take that flight to Perth, right? That are in WWE
overseas?
that really believe that Australia is not real, and then they're going to find out.
Bro,
like maybe who knows? Maybe Katana Chance is a flat earther, and she's going to find out. Like who knows? I'm just throwing a name out there. Don't everybody bury Katana Chance. I just threw the first name that came out.
Well, yeah, don't. He's just saying that. She didn't actually say that, so just saying. But yes. If she was a flat earther, I'd be so disappointed, though, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. I mean, come on.
She's flat. She's not a flat earther. I love Katana Chance. She's one half of the greatest women's tag team of all time.
What's with you today? You're on fire. With the jokes, bro. You're killing it with the jokes today. It's fucking
I told
funny
you,
I'm
a genius and the greatest person to ever do it.
No shit. You're throwing me off every time. Anyway, I think that covers everything, man. We're pretty much just talking now for the hell of it.
Cody won the match, by the way, in case you weren't clear about my tirade of him beating everybody.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, is there anything else we really need to say? There's nothing more we can say about Raw.
Yeah, but, overall, I think Raw is a much more, even at 3 hours, Raw is somehow a much more watchable show. Because even the stuff that I don't personally care about, it feels like the show is caring about it. Like it gets its own moment. Either this tag team fatal 4-way, it's a tag team fatal 4-way, and whoever wins this, it's important. Whereas I felt like in years past, matches like this would go on in the background and they'd just be talking about whatever. The announcers wouldn't care. The fans wouldn't care. Nobody cared. And then it's like, oh, these guys won. Well, on to the next thing. But Raw actually has a little bit of gravity. It has a little bit of importance. They give time to certain segments where guys can talk, like the opening thing with Cody, Drew, and Seth, or the thing with Walter and Jay. And all these things, like Raw is focusing on having nice talking segments with guys that can talk, having decent matches in the mid card, and building you up to a main event that they're trying to get you excited to see the main event, so it finishes strong. So Raw is definitely making improvements. As a comparison, SmackDown feels like it's phoned in, not even counting what happened this past Friday, but just in episodes recently, it's like SmackDown just feels very phoned in and full of filler recaps, because like I said on the wreckage, I cannot fit a 2-hour collision into my lunch break, my 1-hour lunch break at work, but I can easily fit a 2-hour SmackDown into my lunch break, which means there's a lot of skippable stuff on there. So that's kind of lazy and bad, but whatever. Like I said, they're in the process of turning the ship around. So, once they get all this, let's call all the drama, like once the dust settles from all this drama, maybe 6 months, 8 months, a year from now, maybe we're looking at next WrestleMania by the time they're kind of in a groove. WWE has the potential to be really cooking by this time next year.
Fuck yeah, I agree. Absolutely agree. I mean, and Raw
will
does
they?
feel like
That's a different thing. But do they have the
it's on
potential?
them.
They definitely have the talent.
100.
So, and if we're talking about the talent that they have in-house, and we're talking about doing deals with other promotions and bringing in other people and stuff like that, we could be seeing a lot of interesting things coming.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it feels, it's going to sound weird or silly to a few people, but Raw particularly feels like must-watch TV suddenly. Like, I don't know, the energy of the show is so different now to SmackDown. It's bizarre. And you know what? 3 hours doesn't really feel like 3 hours as much as it used to. You know what I mean? Sure, it's still 3 hours and it could do with a 2-hour show. But it doesn't feel as much filler. The filler, they've managed to actually do good shit when usually there'd be filler. Like, for example, the Jey Uso, Walter fucking promo was magnificent. Like, I loved it. You know what I mean?
And put it this way, too, Jimmy. You got all this stuff, and we still left people off the show.
Yeah.
So they actually have more people that they could be doing stuff with, and they don't even have enough time in the 3 hours. Of course, you could give shorter segments and more people, but I'm just saying, like, they're not trying to stretch the 3 hours like they used to. They're actually having trouble getting everybody in on 3 hours. To the point that Braun Breaker has to just walk in and smile, and he can't even talk.
Well, like you said earlier, the fact that they've flown him in just to do that is pretty fucking stupid. But
yeah, or all those 6 women watching the tag team match on the monitor. Like, here's your payday.
I mean, shit, if they got paid like they usually get paid, I mean, I wouldn't be complaining if I was either one of them, but still, you could have done more. But yeah, look, Raw feels like must watch. SmackDown feels, I don't know what they're doing with SmackDown at this point. It feels like two writing teams.
Dude, CM Punk was at SmackDown.
Was he?
Yes, because Kyrie posted a picture with him. So he was there. It's like, dude, if you're going to make the trip, hey, throw a mic in his hand, please.
Right.
Just make sure he holds it with the left arm.
Yeah, good point. You know what's funny, though? I bet you he would have been more than happy to come down to SmackDown either. I bet you they didn't even ask him to do that.
No, he's showing up to work. Just like he did in AEW. He used to do like every job at AEW. I was surprised if CM Punk wasn't sweeping the floors in the arena after they turned the lights out.
He probably does in WWE. But in saying that, Vet, you know what? If you had to give it a grade, what would it be?
This Raw would get like a B-, I think. Only because, like the Braun Breaker thing. Like, come on. Just, can you give the guy like a couple sentences or something? Things like that. And, maybe some of the matches weren't as strong as they could have been. But overall, they're staying relatively consistent and enjoyable. So I'll give it actually not even a B-. I'll give it just a B, a flat B.
Well, I would say an A, but like you said, Vet, the matches were kind of but all the segments were pretty good, including Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax. I actually enjoyed. So, you know what? I'm going to stick to that B-. I think B-. An A is going a little too far. We've seen better on Raw.
Usually we're more generous than Aaron Ben Shlomo. So, let the fans be heard. If he says it's Absolutely. An A, then that's good. They're doing something right.
Hey, look, it was a good Raw. It was definitely a good Raw, but we've seen better in recent weeks. So, but nothing wrong with that. So B- for me. Like I said, segments great, matches not so much, and that's pretty much the tale and story of Monday Night Raw this past week. So in saying that, Vet, tell them where they can find you, my friend.
Well, you can find me at Opinion Haver on all your favorite social media platforms. You can find me every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern with Big Ray Hernandez for the Next Level Wrestling Review. You can find me every Monday night for the Impact Attack at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern with Brandon. We talk about TNA wrestling. You can find me every Sunday, or at least every Sunday so far, with Jimmy T and sometimes Chris Ames on his own show for the Wreckage, where we review Collision, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. All those are available on channelattitude.com. And then you're going to want to check out the PWC network, as you already are, because you never know when I might pop in here, too.
Sure.
Definitely a friend of the show's, and happy to be filling in and helping out Jimmy here and there.
Thank you, man.
Check out Wrestling with Rip Rogers every Friday at whatever time they go live. It's usually been concrete at, get this, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. That's a popular time for podcasting and wrestling.
8 a.m.
though.
That's crazy, bro. Why so early?
Well, 11 a.m. Eastern. It's where we're there from Eastern.
Yeah.
I'm just giving both times, in case people are on different coasts. But for them, it's 11 a.m. Eastern, and that has to do with Rip's schedule. In his case, I don't know everybody else, but good time for me. Works out for me. So yeah, they just had Kevin Thorne, and he was in studio, actually, not just on the StreamYard or the Zoom or whatever, but he was actually there in studio with them. And then they had a run-in from Shelly Martinez, aka Ariel. So we had a ECW reunion there on Wrestling with Rip Rogers. Good shit. Good times talking about those days and how they didn't get along at first, but
really
become friends later. Yeah. So you didn't hear it, Jimmy. So that means you got to go check it out. Gotta go check it out. And there's clips too. So if you follow the channel, they'll upload clips. So if you don't feel like sitting and watching a whole show, they'll upload the clips. But you can get notified of the clips by subscribing to the channel, which is totally free, and everyone should be doing it. Yes, and then Stevie Richards, of course, everything Stevie Richards is doing, Stevie Richards Fitness, Stevie Richards Wrestling Analysis, more channels than I do shows, and he's hard to keep up with, but you can try. So follow Stevie Richards at BWO Stevie on Twitter, Stevie Richards on Instagram, I think.
Michael Manor on Facebook.
Yeah, I don't have Facebook anymore, but if you do, go there. But that's it for me, Jimmy.
Well, that's it. Well, also, I don't know if you saw, but Stevie got a surprise little gift from his wife where he went to check out the Star Trek set.
Oh, that was cool, huh?
Yeah, it looks cool. I mean, I saw it on his Facebook, obviously. I don't think...
Frontier.
Yeah, he seemed like he was really enjoying himself, so shout out to Stevie Richards. He's the man, as per usual. Like the Vet said, he's got more channels than the Vet does shows, and that's a lot, man. That should tell you something. But if you want to follow me, you can at DJ Mass Effects. You can follow us at the PWC Network. Like and subscribe right here at the pwcnetwork.popping.com, where you can find all our shows. Also, channelattitude.com with $5 only to get the realest talk in pro wrestling, but also the best. And it's only $5. Heck,
actually, Jimmy,
10. It's 10.
It's a little bit less than 5. It's like 4.
Oh, it is actually, and
so
also
if you subscribe for a whole year, say 60 cents.
How do I top that? Oh, yeah, subscribe to the whole year where you save yourself 60 cents. That's a bargain, folks. Come on. Anyway, also like and subscribe at HaminMediaGroup.popping.com for all our affiliate shows, which is for free, by the way. And that's a wrap, I think. So in saying that, I am Jimmy T. That is the Vet, Jamie Williams, and you've been listening and watching the PWC Monday Night Machismo right here on the PWC Network. And we're out. Thank you and a peace.